Kouri Richins is the Utah woman who is charged with poisoning her husband Eric Richins with a Moscow Mule drink one night. She also wrote a book after his murder about grief for her children that was later pulled from the shelves. Well, now she's in extra trouble. A letter was found hidden in her jail cell in an LSAT book, which just so happens to be full of examples of witness tampering, and she's claiming that is just merely part of a fictional book that she's writing, not that it's about spoon-feeding information to her mother to tell to her brother to say. So we're going to take a look at this letter. We're going to look at it, what it's all about, and what she claims is the synopsis about her book. So now, let's get into it. The letter is entitled Walk the Dog, with a little bit of a note beside it saying, but take vague notes so you remember. Now, Kouri says that she's writing this book, and that's why she wrote this letter, because it's about her fictional book about time spent in a Mexican jail. And it's entitled Walk the Dog, which when I looked it up, there was quite a few different versions of Walk the Dog. Could mean some of it is, a little more R-rated or PG-rated than G-rated. But basically, in my opinion, this is Walk the Dog, meaning follow along with me, and you'll see why in a minute this makes more sense. So first we're going to just break this down that Kouri is writing a letter to her mother, and she talks about Sky Lazaro, who is Ori's lawyer, and she's talking about her brother Ronnie, and that she wants, basically, fictionally, that she wants him to say certain things about what went down. Here we go, page 1. Glasses are on. Sky is saying, even if the gummies have fentanyl in them, the prosecutor will say I tried to put the fentanyl in the gummies so Eric would have them. Stupid, I know, but that's what she's thinking. We will still test them though. However, she wants to link Eric getting drugs and pills from Mexico, so we would need some kind of connection. Her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch cartel place Eric would stay at. Here is what I'm thinking, but you have to talk to Ronnie, her brother. He would probably have to testify to this, but it's super short, not a lot to it. He will need to tell Sky at the meeting next week. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to just check about the meeting in the week from that point, right? And just a side note for those of you who may not know, that there was a THC gummy that Eric also had in his system, and she said that he would take them, but he also had 5 times the dose of fentanyl, and he would have died, from my research, in just seconds or minutes. I mean, he was found on the floor, there's all kinds of things going on, and shady stuff. You can see that in my other videos. Let's keep going. Oh, and then about Mexico, they actually talked about it in a previous court hearing about Mexico, because Eric would go down there and he would do a trip. And so this is where this is all starting to come in, and she's trying to connect some dots because that's what her lawyer would want. Now here's where it gets very interesting too, because she talks about upon information and belief, just like they say. And according to Wikipedia, it says, in the law of evidence, the phrase information and belief identifies a statement that is made not from first-hand knowledge, but based on second-hand information that the declarant believes is true. The phrase is often used in legal pleadings, declarations under penalty of perjury, and affidavits under oath. It is often used in phrase similar to the plaintiff is informed and believes, and upon such information and belief alleges. This protects the maker of the statement from claims of outright falsehood or perjury. So she says all this upon information and belief, and then proceeds to say, a year prior to Eric's death, Ronnie was over watching football one Sunday, and Eric and Ronnie were chatting about Eric's Mexico trips. Eric told Ronnie he gets pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico from the workers at the ranch, not to tell me because I would get mad, because I always said he just gets high every night and won't help take care of the kids. There are pictures in my phone of Eric passed out on the floor or in the chair. Ronnie should have texts from Eric talking about getting high as well. That'll be interesting to see if there's any texts. Eric told Ronnie he keeps them in an allergy pill bottle in his work truck so I wouldn't find them. Ronnie never told me about the conversation. Eric finally told me and asked if Carmen could get him some. Now, in the court hearings, they talked about CL all the time, and I believe Carmen is the person that provided the drugs to Kouri. And this CL also worked for Kouri as well. So there's a little bit back and forth about that. We continue. Eric never wanted anyone to know he had an issue, especially get caught. He always wanted Kouri to go down for him. So now she's talking in the third person. When they traveled, Eric would put his drugs in Kouri's bag at the airlines right before they boarded. That way, if they were caught, Kouri got in trouble, not him. Once they got to wherever they were going, Eric would pull the drugs out of her bag and it would cause a huge fight. She was pissed. He would risk her going to jail for his drug use. He just would laugh about it. Eric couldn't ruin his image that he had drug issues, so he would do whatever he had to. Kouri has never done any type of pills, didn't like them. Rarely would she consume THC, only if Eric begged her because it was a special occasion. Now in asterisk, it says, reword this however he needs to make the point, just include it all. Now this is interesting to me because it's like, oh, is Kouri going to say, well, you know what, that was just like a footnote or a side note for my editor. I'm sorry, this is just so ridiculous. This is very much reminiscent. You let me know in the comments below. It's kind of like if Lori and Letitia had a sister. May we present to you Kouri Richins. Okay, we keep going. Okay, so she says, reword this however he needs to make the point, just include it all. The connection has to be made with Mexico and drugs. Ronnie will have the messages to prove Eric confided in him about getting high. It can be short and to the point, but has to be done. Upon information and belief, LOL. They never found pain pills or fentanyl in my house because he hid it in an allergy bottle in a work truck, and Cody emptied out the work truck within a week, so they were never found. Now, one thing I want to say also is I wonder about the cell phone and if there was some manipulation about these texts to Ronnie. It'd be interesting. Can't wait to find that out. Page 3 out of 6. When you talk to Ronnie about this, meet up with him in person. I worry sometimes your house and phone are bugged. Maybe drive down to SL, I'm assuming a Salt Lake, and meet him after work without Bree or Bri, don't know who that is. Sky has to make the connection between Eric and Mexico because that makes the most sense in her mind. If it's Ronnie's information and belief about the conversation over football, she can use that as a connection. A little witness tampering going on here. Tell Ronnie, don't overanalyze it. It was a quick 2-minute conversation, LOL. Tell him I need him to do this. Bring me home, and then we will get those damn bitches. Wait till you hear what she says about her writing this fictional book. Also, please text Lotto or call. Tell him do not text me anything about us doing things together ever. Like church, skiing, trips, nothing that puts us together. It doesn't look good. Now, I'm not sure if this is one of her extra boyfriends, because I know that there was some suspicion that Kouri was cheating on her husband. So I'm not too sure if this is who that is. Stay tuned, we'll figure that out. If you know, you can let me know below. We continue. We're so close to the end, let's push through. Have the conversation with Ronnie before he meets with Sky, then tell him to tell Sky at the meeting about the conversation. Hang in there, we're almost there. Love you to the moon with a little heart. Take vague notes of all this so you remember before you walk the dog. Page 4. I saw a commercial yesterday, Utah Mortgage Relief. Google them, please. It's for people behind on their mortgage. Can you see if they can help at all on Marissa's house, please? We have to get hers, yours, and Chelsea's taken care of ASAP, ? Try to go to that place in Camas. What about asking Lotto to do a loan solely in his name and not have you on there. I know he can do a home equity line of credit on his house in Hideout. Not sure if he would, but I know he has like $1 million in equity. Maybe he just doesn't know about a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. If he wants to help me, taking care of these loans is most important. I don't give a shit about the yodels. Remember, I told you one way to get at Katie is going through my phone and finding a picture of her girls, even with the boys. Print 15 copies and send them out anonymously to different media companies. Obviously, don't email the pictures so it's not traceable. She would be livid if it got out to the public. You would just have to do it sneakily, not sneakily, just sneakily, and be careful. She would try and trace it back to you. If not, no worries. Let's talk about this for a minute. Kouri is asking her mother if she could print 15 copies of Katie's children, and Katie is Eric, so dead Eric Richins' sister, the kids, so the nieces, even with the boys, meaning her children, and print it and send it out to the media companies, she's saying. But don't email them because it's not traceable, but she wants to put this out in public. This woman is very much like Lori Daybell, like I said, and Letitia, all in one. Notable, she had multiple policies, not just on Eric, but also her children. And way back, before we knew this information, I was talking about the book that she wrote and worried that her children would be next based on what she wanted to write in her future books. And lo and behold, we find out in court that Kouri had multiple policies on her children. So she just does not give a crap, in my opinion, and just wants to, it's all about the money for her, and this is some sort of other crap. Let me know below how you feel about that. I know it's not good. Number 5, page 5. Sky is having the My Girls do the first interview with Good Morning America. Please tell Chelsea to bring up that he hasn't been to church in the 13 years she has known him, and Eric would brag to her about how much he drank and did pills in high school. Tell Kelsey to say Eric always wanted Kouri to go down for him. For example, he would put drugs in her suitcase when we would travel together, so if anyone got caught, it was Kouri. He would put it in her bag right before they left the house so Kouri didn't know. Then when we would land wherever, Eric would take them out of her bag and Carrie would be pissed and they would argue about it. Tell Kelsey to say how Eric didn't care and would just laugh about it and say, well, I can't get in trouble, as if it was okay that I got in trouble. Have Selma talk about Eric in Spain not being able to drink, so he was looking for drugs the entire time, and explain the drink the waitress gave him and how I called his doctor and went to the pharmacy immediately. Now, side note on this, she talks about Spain in here, but we knew about something in Greece where Eric believes that he was getting poisoned by Kouri and put something in his drink. We heard it was Greece. Now she's talking about Spain, so now I'm wondering if the detectives are going like, we got Spain now, hey? It was Greece before, now it's Spain, because she needs this very important note about this. Also, a few months before Eric died was Valentine's Day. And apparently, Kouri made him a sandwich and gave him a sandwich, and he ate it, and he got violently ill after it. So there's a few little, quirky little things for, the alleged killer. We continue on. Have Allie talk about how the sisters have always been jealous of me because anything they could do, Kouri could do better. Being a mom, college, stay-at-home wife until she built $1 million company, a nice house, car, everything she had, they wanted. This comes down to jealousy, money, and Eric's partying that they don't want to acknowledge, and sadly, an accidental overdose. I have to bring up that Kouri also had an alleged party 24 hours, not even 24 hours after her husband's death, and had it in this mansion that she had purchased and that Eric didn't want her to, but and by the next day, signed, sealed, and delivered, and she's having this party, allegedly. Lastly, don't forget to work on the gun receipts. We want to file charges and let the prosecutor not do anything about it to use in our defense. Will you buy a box of Crest white strips? Open them up, put them in an envelope, and have Sky give them to me. You can tell her what's in the envelope. I'm sure she won't care. I'll make sure they can't be found in my cell. My teeth are yellow from so much coffee and tea all day. I love you, I love you, I love you. Hang in there, we're getting there slowly. You're the best mom in the whole world. I'm so lucky to have you. Now, let's go over, I'm going to pull up, and we're going to talk about her reasonings of what she's saying about why she wrote this, or the crap that she was talking about. So let's talk about her reasoning. Okay, so she says, those papers were not a letter to you guys. They were part of my freaking book. You can very much tell that the whole thing is very much a story. Oh, it's a story, all right. It's a BS story. The prosecution said it's pretty much far-fetched and said, the audience content and purpose are readily apparent. The defendant is asking her mother to facilitate witness tampering involving her brother, seeking to have her brother support a false factual narrative. So as of the 21st of September, which is yesterday at the time of this recording, Sky, the lawyer, has not responded. I could just imagine, how that might look right now to her, how she feels about that. She has a client who is clearly lying. They found this letter in an LSAT book. Now, interestingly, how it went about was Kouri apparently was given the wrong medication in jail, and this was like the 5th or 6th time, and she apparently had a seizure. So the guards went in, and they went and checked her cell, and then they found this letter in her LSAT book. I mean, if it's about a book, it's her fictional book, why you need to hide it? So, I don't know. It very much is vibes like Letitia Stout. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think the theatrics will continue in court. We've seen them already in the only 2 court hearings that I've watched. She rolls her eyes. She laughs when she shouldn't be laughing. I had that in a YouTube short. You can take a look at that. I'll have that in the description box below and in the playlists. But with her, this is going to be drama, 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 I think, the whole way through. What do you think? Let me know. Now, a spokesperson for Eric's family said, there's nothing that these people are doing right now that doesn't surprise the family or the lengths that they're willing to go to. It doesn't do us any good to get in the weeds with them, so that's not going to happen. And Sky, by the way, was not happy that this letter was leaked. Kouri is set to go in court on November 3rd for a scheduling conference. They were saying in the last court hearing that there's a lot of information to go through, so they weren't quite ready to set the preliminary hearing. We should find about that soon, and check out the playlist here in the Kouri Richins case, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.